Makeover Monday, everybody, and as you can see from the thumbnail, from the title, we are in Sunlit Tides with douchey Daniel Pleasant and his lovely wife Mary Sue Pleasant. So as always with these Townie makeovers, I am starting off with the makeover where I just change their hair, their eyebrows, give them a little bit of makeup, but I don't touch their facial features. And I've got to say, before we get into his little backstory, that this version of Daniel I think is my favorite out of the two that I did. He turns out to be a hottie patati. He's still a douche, but he is pretty darn hot. EA didn't do Daniel Pleasant dirty. He just needed some new hair, some new eyebrows, a little bit of makeup. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, and we've got Daniel Pleasant. So before he turned into douchey Daniel that we all know from The Sims 2, Daniel was all the way back in Sims 1 with his family, with his parents and his sister Jennifer Pleasant, who I made over a couple weeks ago with her husband John Verb. And yes, that was them in The Sims 1. They were in the family bin in Neighborhood 1, and then on to Sims 2, even though that came after Sims 3. We're gonna go to Sims 2. So in The Sims 2, this is where all the drama happens. And Daniel's in the athletic career as an assistant coach. Ooh, first of all, I had to give him some body hair because he just needed some body hair. I don't know, to me, body hair is manly, and Daniel is a manly man. But in The Sims 2, he was in the athletic career as an assistant coach, and unknown to his lovely wife, Mary Sue, he's having an affair with the family maid, Kaylin Langerak. And he's also enemies with his daughter's boyfriend, Angela's boyfriend, Dustin Broke, and he dislikes her dating him. And he's not met Lilith's boyfriend, his other daughter, Dirk Dreamer, and we don't know why this is. It could be, actually we have no idea why. Anyway, we're almost finished with his outfit, so I'm going to pick up with you guys after the spinny bits. So like I was saying, douchey Daniel here is enemies with Angela's boyfriend Dustin, and he's not met Lilith's boyfriend Dirk, and he's got a very poor relationship with Mary Sue. They're not even best friends in The Sims 2, and they don't even love each other in The Sims 2. And part of the reason that their relationship is so poor, not only because he's having an affair with the maid, but also because Mary Sue is a bit of a workaholic. And there's actually a memory in The Sims 2 of the neighborhood storytelling pictures, and it shows that Mary Sue is rejecting Daniel's woohoo for work. So she chooses going over to work instead of giving him a little bit of nookie. Not that I'm saying that's an excuse for Daniel to be cheating on Mary Sue, but they argue a lot and she works a lot, so he turns to the comfort of Kaylin Langerak, which is not very good for their relationship. And I don't know if we know if Mary Sue knows that Daniel's having an affair, but she's obsessed with her job, and that causes their relationship to suffer. And then that also has a knock-on effect on their twin daughters in The Sims 2. But all of this can be left up to the imagination of the player, which I really love about Sims 2 and all the lore and all the drama. You can kind of make of it what you will. So in The Sims 3, which is where we are, which is where we find them in Sunlit Tides, they make a comeback as a newlywed couple. Now, I would like to imagine that this is sort of a fresh start for them, and maybe Mary Sue's gonna chillax a little bit, although she is a workaholic. Maybe she'll chillax a little bit, and maybe they'll have just the best relationship in the world. I mean, I don't want to count on that, because if we look at Daniel's traits for The Sims 3, he is athletic, charismatic, he has commitment issues, which could lead to the whole cheating thing. He is flirty, another thing that could lead to the whole cheating thing. He's a great kisser. His zodiac sign is an Aries. His lifetime wishes to be a heartbreaker, which again, the cheating thing. His favorites are Latin, dim sum, and green. So I don't hold out much hope for these two. And what I like to imagine happened in The Sims 3 is that, you know, maybe Daniel's parents wanted him to settle down, and they were like, you need to get married. Like, this bachelor lifestyle that you're living isn't any good. Find yourself a wife. And so he found Mary Sue, and they got together, and he thought, you know, she's a good, sweet, wholesome woman, and maybe he loved the fact that she was a workaholic so he could get his kicks elsewhere. I don't know, but all I know is Daniel is a bit of a douche. But he's still really hot. I love the way he turned out. Now, when we get to his hair, I struggled a little bit internally about what I was going to do with his hair. I don't know if you remember from the previous bit where I just made him over and I didn't do the extreme makeover. There was one particular hair that I paused on for maybe a second or two, and I actually ended up giving him this hair. Now, I don't know if it was the right choice, and like I said, I think I prefer the made-over Daniel instead of the extreme made-over Daniel, which doesn't happen very often because usually EA do The Sims dirty, but they didn't this time. So I went with this hairstyle. I had to go for it. I did change his hair color a little bit. I know Daniel's a redhead, but I went for a darker red. But a lot of the hairs that I've got for males looked really, really good on him. But I took a risk here with this hairstyle. You guys can let me know what you think down below. I went with a man bun. I love a man bun, but I have to say they are a little bit, I don't know, I think they can be characterized as being a little bit douchey. I don't think that, but I thought it fit really well with Daniel's persona and how I wanted him to be, and he just looks so fit. He's so hot. Pixel thirst is real with Daniel Pleasant. So I'm going through all of the clothes that I've got. I don't think I went for a store top. I went for a Showtime top. I go for this one, I change it of course and then come back, but I went for a Showtime top. There are a lot of good in-game clothes. I know males always get the shaft, but there's a lot of good in-game clothes for males. So I'm almost finished with his outfit. We're just gonna do his bottoms and his shoes, and that's it for Daniel. So we're gonna move on to Mary Sue, so I'll pick up with you guys once we get to the sweet and wholesome Mary Sue Pleasant. So I have a real soft spot for Mary Sue Pleasant. I feel really, really bad for her. Like, even though she's a workaholic and she basically ignores her husband, I feel so incredibly sad for her and for her life. Now, she doesn't appear in The Sims 1, but she was adopted by Coral and Herb Oldie as a toddler. And in The Sims 2, where all the drama happens, She's a bit of a workaholic, seems too immersed in her job as an intern in the politics career to notice all the problems at home, including douchey Daniel having an affair with the maid. So it looks like their life is perfect from the outside, like from an outsider looking in, but it's not. It's all crumbling around her, and I feel like she's the type that buries her head in the sand and is just too focused on her work to really worry about or care what's happening at home. So she's obsessed with perfection, but things aren't so perfect at home, and it just makes my heart hurt so bad for everything that's going on at home. And you know, she's just like an ostrich, and she's got her head buried in the sand, and maybe she doesn't care. Do you know what I mean? Maybe Mary Sue was just like, I need to get married, and Daniel can provide for me, or I can provide for myself, and I want to have kids someday. And you know, maybe Daniel was just a means to an end. Maybe she does know about Daniel and Kaylin in The Sims 2, and she just frankly doesn't give a shit. But I feel like she would really care. Anyway, so I really think that Mary Sue is super duper cute. EA didn't do a too shabby job. I do prefer the version that I did to this version, but she is still really cute. She's very delicate, and I wanted to make her sort of fun and feminine in both versions of Mary Sue, even though she's more of a workaholic and kind of stern, is what I would say in The Sims 2, but I wanted to make her sort of more Sims 3-esque, where she's a newlywed. So, you know, she's happy and fun and all of that good stuff like you are when you're a newlywed, and then, you know, 25 years later, you're bitter. Anyway, almost to the spinny bits. I'll pick up with you guys in a second. So a little bit more about the drama in Sims 2 with Mary Sue and Daniel, and this is what I love about the drama that Maxis created in The Sims 2. So when the Pleasant family is first played, Maxis has arranged everything into a recipe for disaster. While Mary Sue is at work and the twins are at school, Daniel has the day off, and the maid Daniel has an affair with, Kaylin Langerick, comes to the house to clean up. And like every service NPC that is friends with someone in the household, she asks if he wants to hang out after work. What usually happens is that following Daniel's wishes to woohoo with Kaylin, Mary Sue gets a predetermined chance card from work, and unless the player chooses ignore, she will either be fired or demoted, thus coming home early and catching Daniel and Kaylin together. She doesn't seem to want to get divorced from Daniel, even though she isn't in love with him. Mary Sue will get the chance card regardless of how the situation between Daniel and Kaylin is played. If Daniel does some of the cleaning either before Kaylin arrives or while she's there, she may be able to finish early enough for the two of them to be able to woohoo before Mary Sue gets home. If they manage to do this, and if they're kept out of other romantic interactions, Mary Sue will not catch Daniel cheating, and he will be able to get away with the affair for the time being. And so it also says here in the wiki, it's also possible to lock Mary Sue's fear of losing her job. After receiving the chance card, choosing the grammar check option will cause her to lose her job. If that triggers the fear, she will go into aspiration failure, giving Daniel and Kaylin more time in their affair. I just love stuff like that, and I wish it was more in depth in the following games, because we've got the basis for drama in The Sims 3, but it's not as drama filled. So anyway, let's go on to Sims 3 Mary Sue while I'm giving her an extreme makeover. So like I said, they come back as newlyweds on their honeymoon in Sunlit Tide, so they don't have their twins, Angela and Lilith, yet. And she has 2 points in logic and 1 in cooking and handiness. And what I want to say before I go on to her traits and the rest that we need to know about Mary Sue is that I want to give away Sunlit Tides. So if you guys would like a copy of the Store World Sunlit Tides, yes, I have checked that I can actually gift Sunlit Tides. Let me know down below in the comments, because I really want to continue giving back to you guys. So just let me know if you would like Sunlit Tides. Let me know your username on the Sims forums, and I will do a randomizer like I did last time. So anyway, let's learn more about Mary Sue Pleasant in The Sims 3. Her traits are workaholic. Yes, we know this. She is a perfectionist. She is a hopeless romantic, which is really weird because she's not in love with Daniel. She must really hate him, like in The Sims 2. She's over emotional, which I feel like that doesn't mesh with Sims 2 Mary Sue. I feel like she would just be like, have a really straight backbone and like nothing would get her down, and she would only grieve in private. She wouldn't let anybody see her emotions. But in The Sims 3, she's over emotional. She's also charismatic, and her zodiac sign is a Libra, just like me. She's an indecisive sloth. So does she stay with Daniel if he cheats, or does she go? What's the crack here? And her lifetime wish, which is very strange because in The Sims 2 she was in the politics career, and in The Sims 3 you can be in the politics career, but her lifetime wish is to be a chess legend. Her favorites are indie, French toast. Ooh, I love me some French toast. And the color green is her favorite color. So that is Mary Sue Pleasant, and like I say, she is just a little cutie patootie, and I like how sweet and innocent I made her look. I didn't change a lot of her facial features. I think probably the most that I changed on her was probably her nose, but her eye shape, I kept the basis of her eye shape because it really suits her, and she just looks so sweet and innocent. But I've got to tell you guys, when I was doing what do I call it, when I do the photo shoot with The Sims and I do all the couples, you'll see them at the end. The pictures that I chose of the couples just crack me up because Daniel just looks like he doesn't want to be in this picture. He doesn't want to be with his wife. Like, he never should have listened to his parents and married Mary Sue. He just should have continued on with his bachelor lifestyle. But anyway, these are the Pleasants, Daniel and Mary Sue Pleasant, and I've got some ideas about how I want to use them in the future, so be on the lookout for that. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. So if you enjoyed this, make sure to do all those cool interweb things like comment and subscribe. Make sure you've got that bell ding dong so you're notified whenever I do upload. But for now, I'm gonna skedaddle. Don't be a plum stranger now, guys.